My belief is that dairy farming, any kind of farming and work with animals and land takes absolute passion and integrity.
I think that cheese is alive, and that what people receive is what I'm putting into it. So I try to make sure everything is harmonious and that the people that work for me, that they're happy and everything's cool.
The idea of being a cheesemaker came about because I wanted to have a farm. And I grew up in a suburb of Portland, so I didn't have any natural path to start farming. So I chose, more or less, out of thin air avocation.
People want to know where their food comes from. People want to know how it's raised, that good ingredients go into it.
The thing about artisan cheese and what it does is it's not just about the sustainability, it's also about preserving kind of a cultural knowledge base that's closer to the earth.
You know, we do it from the feed to the cheese, and it varies a lot. We are seasonal and some of our cheeses do vary, so we let them know the variance is because of the feed situation and the particular season.
You choose something that you enjoy doing, and yes, at times it's too much, at times it's overwhelming, but the rest of the time you realize what you have and be grateful for it.
You have to be dedicated to it. You have to be on call 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's the only way it's going to work.
The cheese doesn't watch the clock. Even when you're making it, you don't push it, and when you're aging it, you don't push it. And finally, you definitely don't push it when you give it out to the consumer.
Well, I tend to be a perfectionist, so I tend to, I'm trying to make just not a good cheese. I want to make a fantastic cheese.
There's a real strong sense of community in Oregon, and the Guild has brought us all together.
Happy owners and happy goats, good cheese.
Both Carrie and I believe that cheesemaking found us. This creamery was in distress in 2002 and on the verge of closure. And we were going to open a wine bar, and of course we needed cheese for that wine bar. In the process we found the Rogue Creamery, and its owner, Igvella, proposed that we buy it and make the cheese for our wine bar. To make a long story short, we gave up the wine bar concept, and now we're making cheese every day here at Rogue Creamery.
I never thought that I would make cheese in my life. When I was a microbiology student, we made yogurt. I was cranky. Why am I making food? I want to save the world. I want to save people. I want to cure diseases.
Rogue Creamery was founded in 1928 by a cooperative here in Central Point called the Rogue River Valley Creamery. And in 1935 it was sold to Tom Vella on a handshake. And Tom Vella was backed by J.L. Kraft. J.L. Kraft actually helped him finance the acquisition of this creamery and also allowed him to finance startup dairies to supply this creamery milk.
Took over the creamery a little over 5 years ago from Ignacio Vella, who still works with us as our master cheesemaker. We came into it as a blank slate, but it was really a blank slate standing on the shoulders of giants.
Our milk is from a dairy just a stone's throw from our door called Rogue View Dairy. Our cows graze on the Rogue River every day. The milk is certified sustainable, is pure, without any additives, hormones, or antibiotics.
Our mantra is sustainability. We balance that with handmade. We very much value handmade, and they're often kind of conflicting in a way, in the sense of, it's much more sustainable economically to automate, and yet it doesn't have the tradition, it doesn't have the human touch to it, which is very important.
We are dedicated to the art and tradition of making our cheese inspired by old world recipes, but certainly with new world nuances.
It was really exciting coming into cheesemaking as an absolute blank slate, because we had no preconceived notions of what you're supposed to do. It's basically tradition and the tradition of innovation. A lot of people think that tradition means static, and it doesn't. You know, we kind of glorify the French for making traditional cheeses, and yet when you look at the history of French cheeses, it's all about innovation and adjusting to the times and adjusting to what's available. We take that into account, that you don't need to do things exactly the way they were done before. You can create new things.
I've been making cheese ever since 1968. I grew up on a dairy farm, lived a quarter mile from a Hebo cheese factory, and my dad worked there. My uncle was the cheesemaker for Tillamook Cheese and Dairy Association, so it's kind of in the family, I guess. We make approximately 13, 14 different cheeses, but we're mainly known for our world-famous aged cheddar. We have approximately 130 dairy farmers that belong to the co-op. They're milking approximately 30,000 cows, approximately 60% Holstein off-breed, and then there's 40% Jersey. And we bring in about 1,550,000 pounds of milk a day. I think the main thing is Tillamook is dedicated to bringing in quality milk, first of all. The cows are in grass here by 9 months out of the year. Our milk here is very creamy. It's not near as white as milk that comes out of a feedlot. The farms have mixed their herds, Jersey and Holsteins, where the fat and protein coming in here is very, very consistent every single day. We're dealing with almost 3 million pounds of milk a day between the two plants, and out of that we're probably producing 320,000 pounds of cheese a day. And when you stop and think about that, every single day of the year, it's just phenomenal that people are eating that much cheese. The recipes have been handed down over the years from cheesemaker to cheesemaker. The recipe we're using has been the original recipe that was created 97, 98 years ago. I think one of the things that consumers need to know is that every time they go to the grocery store and they buy a loaf of cheese that has Tillamook on it, they're going to get a quality piece of cheese. Every loaf's going to be good. It's going to be excellent. Seeing your block of cheese there on the store shelf with the name Tillamook on it is just a huge motivator. Really, it makes you want to dedicate to making a top-notch product.